In the dust-choked silence of her grandmother's attic, Alara found the mirror. It was an antique with an ornate, tarnished silver frame that seemed to drink the light. As she wiped away decades of grime, her reflection wavered, and for a fleeting moment, she saw something else. It was a bizarrely specific image, a glass of water tipping over, spilling across a dark wooden table. She shook her head, blaming the dust and dim light, but the next day, as she reached for her morning tea, she watched in shock as her elbow nudged a water glass, sending it tumbling over her kitchen table. Exactly as she'd seen, it started small. A curiosity she couldn't resist, the mirror became her secret, her obsession. She'd gaze into its depths, and it would show her glimpses of the day to come. A surprise gift from a friend appearing on her doorstep. A car swerving just in time to avoid her on a crosswalk. Her neighbor's lost cat miraculously reappearing in her backyard. At first, she found it thrilling, this secret knowledge. She tried to alter the outcomes, to test the mirror's power. If it showed her tripping on a loose paving stone, she'd take a different route. But somehow, she'd end up stumbling over a stray curb instead, the fall still happening, just in a different way. The visions were immutable, her fate sealed in silvered glass, slowly. The playful glimpses of her future began to darken, the premonitions grew more sinister, more personal. She saw arguments with friends before they happened, the bitter words already hanging in the air. She saw the flicker of a fire in a window down the street. Feeling the heat before the first siren wailed, the mirror showed her betrayals, accidents, and sorrows, each one unfolding with chilling accuracy. Fear began to replace fascination. The mirror was no longer a game, it was a curse, a relentless narrator of a story she had no power to change. She tried to cover it, to hide it away. But the pull was too strong, she had to know what was coming next. Even as the knowing began to eat away at her sanity. One night, dreading what she might see but unable to look away, she approached the mirror. The air in the attic was colder than usual. Her reflection stared back, eyes wide with a terror that wasn't yet her own, and then the image shifted. It showed her own body sprawled lifelessly on the very floorboard she was standing on, her face pale and still. But that wasn't the worst part. For the first time, she wasn't alone in the reflection. Standing behind her mirrored image, a tall, impossibly dark figure loomed, a silhouette devoid of features. A pure absence of light, a scream caught in her throat. She had 24 hours, pure. Animal terror took over. She fled the attic, barricading herself in her bedroom. She pushed her heavy dresser against the door, wedged a chair under the knob, and sealed the window shut. Every creak of the old house was the figure coming for her. Every shadow was its form taking shape. The hours crawled by like a sentence, each tick of the clock a hammer blow against her sanity. She sat huddled in the corner, waiting for the fate the mirror had ordained. The sun began to rise, painting the sky in shades of pink and orange. Alara checked the clock on her phone, her hands trembling violently. The predicted time of her death had passed. 10 minutes past .30 an hour. She was still alive. A wave of dizzying relief washed over her, so potent it almost made her sick. It was a mistake. A glitch in the cursed glass. She had survived. Slowly, cautiously, she unblocked the door and made her way back to the attic. Needing to see for herself, she stood before the mirror, her heart still pounding a frantic rhythm. Her own reflection looked back at her disheveled, pale, but undeniably alive and unharmed. She let out a shaky breath, a half laugh of pure relief, but then a cold draft snaked around her ankles. A shadow fell over her, a darkness that had nothing to do with the attic's dim light. She glanced back at the mirror. Her reflection was still alone, but standing in the room behind her. Its chilling presence finally real, no longer confined to the glass, was the shadow figure.